Hey folks, Phil B-Man here. I'm in my wintering shed this evening thinking about what to say about all the bee losses folks are talking about. Talked to some friends that are good beekeepers who are looking at 50% losses they think, and I know it's all around me. So I want to count a few hives and then talk a bit about what I think is going on in my bees. I'm not going to say what's going on in anyone else's bees, but I'll tell you a bit about mine. So first of all, here's a stack of pretty typical hives of mine, and you can see that we've been through these and fed them, and there's a few, there's one up there, let's see if I can find a close one, that we have what I call tagged out. Here's one here. So that tag means that using the thermal camera, we've identified that there's no hope for that. Another one up there. These, by the way, with the green tags are the summer splits. So actually they're looking pretty good. There's a couple more dead ones there. On this side, you can see a few more. There's one cluster of them here. Another here. And there's a few here. So one of my observations is this is not random. That the way I stack these hives in, typically any group of 4 stacks of 3 pallets is about a yard of 40 or 48. I went up on the ladder earlier today to look at the ones that were tagged under the lids. Some are weak, some are dead. But my numbers overall, like every hive with a bottle, is good. I'm reasonably content. Another little cluster of them right here. Of dead ones, dead one there, 2 right there. But overall, you know, things are looking okay. So, first of all, thank goodness. Now let's go look at a problem. So here we're looking at the hives that were from the site I videoed as a train wreck. We put that red tape that we normally use for identifying or for sealing the bee escapes when the bees are starting to rob, and so that's what we had to mark them when we were in the truck that day. So the dead ones or the very weak ones came home. The ones that were still viable we marked with the tape. So it's actually this one single column are the hives from that site, and you can see there's 1 alive, 2 alive. On this side, over here, it's a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of 24, 5, and what was it on this side again? 1, 2. Oh no, it was 5 in total. Yeah, holy crap. So 19 dead. That's completely atypical for the rest of the operation. The hives that came in from an adjoining bee yard, probably pretty close, most of them are good. Right? Look up at these bottles. They are drawn on those bottles just beautifully. These hives are happy. You can see in the entrance that they're clustered up. These girls are, and then here's a dead one, just nothing going on. Okay, so I'm gonna go outside from the shed here and let's talk about this a bit more. What I want to do is go through the history of those, what I should have recognized, and what we're learning from it. Okay, so when I look at these hives that were part of what's now a almost complete train wreck, right? So we had yard of 48 hives, a bunch dead, a bunch so weak that we had to pool them all together to get a sample large enough to test. And I haven't maybe been as forthcoming as I should have been about results of those tests. So I'm going to make up for that now. So on end of honey flow, beginning of the treatment season, those hives were only a mite or two higher on a 300 bee shake than the rest. They did not stand out at the beginning of the fall season. First red flag, October 9th, so about a month into that treatment cycle. I should back up. First of all, in the spring, treated with Apivar early and Formic sort of at the onset of summer, but before the honey flow. And so we were expecting, if those two treatments have been successful, that these hives should be in good shape. Not that I couldn't treat them, but that I should have been expecting them to be normal. So October 9th, I got a text from my fellow that they were starting to show 15 mites a sample, which means a 300 bee sample, so probably 5%. And that those hives looked very sad. So that's not great. We went back and vaped them a couple times. And then when we're picking them up on November 4th, disaster, right? So those hives went downhill very quickly over a month. The bees that we salvaged from the weak hives tested out a couple different ways. First of all, mite counts were off the charts, and 30-40% in that composite sample. And I had the KRTP program, whose shirt and hat I'm probably wearing, test them for resistance. Got about 45% efficacy on Amitraz, so 55% of the mites were immune to Amitraz. So probably that was last spring when I thought I treated, didn't treat enough because I had resistance. And then I had results for virus loads on those bees. Deformed wing and Israeli acute virus particularly were well into the danger zone. Either of those two viruses on their own could have pulled those hives down, and the two of them together. And in fact, every virus we tested for had high results. So what killed those hives? I should actually now probably get, of these survivors, we should probably do some more testing on them now to see if hives that, the few that are left alive, we would have some results on. So we've got 5 left out of the original 48 from that site. So, that is the kind of losses some folks are talking about across their entire apiaries. And, it just, mites got away from me at that site. I managed to claw my way back on most of my sites. A little less resistance in the spring, maybe a slightly better formic treatment. That site we're talking about, it just gets such full sun that I'm a little cautious about the formic there. Maybe I didn't quite lay it into them enough. It was Formic Pro. It should have been right. I don't know. Anyway, those two. So just slightly elevated. Mites is all it took. If I looked at all my results across my apiaries, that one site only blips up like by 1% compared to the rest. And that was enough to tip it over the edge and destroy those bees. I'll maybe put some photos of the results at the end of this, and you can study those up yourself. If you're looking at a similar situation, I'm bleeding for you. I don't have a lot of wisdom. I don't know what's going on in your bees. I think all I can do is add to the conversation by telling you what's going on in mine. And I'm super scared about the coming year because I know I got resistance. And look what it did to me last year at one site. Do I want to repeat that across my whole operation? Absolutely not. So I've got to get smart and quick. And I've been probably not thinking hard enough about what do you treat with when I tried Apistan, didn't work. And even if it did for me, it certainly didn't at this site. Because I did that as a fall treatment. These hives had an Apistan treatment, but obviously, I discussed that in an earlier video. I was disappointed that was, even after 20 years of not using it, resistance was still quite evident. And so Apistan doesn't work. I don't expect anything better from Kumafos, and it's not even licensed here anymore anyway. Fluvalinate, 45% efficacy at best, at worst, who knows? I should probably do some more testing on that too. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I should be testing now, gather some samples up. Matthew will be back in a week or two. I should have some samples to test to know if I would get any kind of support from fluvalinate if I use it this spring. Otherwise, we're all organic beekeepers. We're going to have to use oxalic and formic and any other mystery concoction we can come up with because the silver bullets don't work anymore. So, stay strong, be brave, look for the signs, in this case, signs of trouble. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day.